you're going to see one side who wants to pick someone like Okoye to be their champion, and you're going to have another side who says, well, really, the most worthy champion maybe in this new generation is Killmonger.
You have to turn to a face people trust, and that's M'Baku.
This is how we kind of backfill Namor into the MCU. I think it's a great way you have Atlantis, you have Wakanda, you have two of these kind of like very proud and tribal nations going head to head.
Guys, welcome back to New Rockstars. This is Rogue Theory Quarantine Edition. Obviously, things are a little different, but that doesn't stop us. We've been doing these hangouts, just pitching wild theories at each other, and then we were like, let's just record these and make this our episode of Rogue Theory. And here with me to get into some crazy theories, of course, Erik Voss from the Blue Dungeon.
I'm here, and I still have a couple breaths of air left.
Sweet. We also have Tommy Bechtold.
Hey!
Thanks for the contribution, Tommy.
It's a great
to be here.
Hey!
We pay him by the word.
I think there's a little lag. Just
You're
kidding.
faking that.
Just joking.
It's annoying because you do have lag, so your faking lag is doubly lagging.
No lag gags. It's impossible to get that timing right.
Lag gags?
Oh, God. Now we have to do it.
Lag gags, all right.
All right, and no one cares about any other guests.
No,
guys, excuse me. It's my good friend Matt Raub,
hey,
all
guys.
the way from Smoosh.
Filup, thanks for having me.
What? We already had to cut something from this episode? Yeah. That's right, because I'm Filup Molina, and we're about to get into what happened to our favorite African country during the snap. What happened to these Kenyan
What
politics?
happened to Chad?
Yeah, the People's Republic of Congo. No, we're talking Wakanda. What happened in Wakanda?
What happened?
My mic is...
What happened?
What happened? Okay, so we've been rewatching all of the MCU movies to help us get us through quarantine. You can join us in that in Discord, by the way, if you're a patron, and just watch along with us in there. But you also heard me talk about this in Big Question. We realized what happened in Wakanda at the snap. 5 years pass. We know that T'Challa, their leader, is gone. We also know that his sister also dusted. But we see Okoye representing Wakanda in that like hollow meeting in Endgame. And I was like, wait, who is in charge of Wakanda then? What is going on in Wakanda? Is there like Game of Wakanda happening? And she's talking all about this underwater earthquake, and it's keep having nightmares about this. And so I want to know, guys, give me your theories on what happened in Wakanda over those 5 years. Let's go Rogue.
Okay, so yeah, there was this discussion of this like underwater earthquake, and really what was interesting to me is Okoye's tone. She was like, we handle it by not handling it, which made it sound like, back off, this is a Wakandan issue, we got this under control. So what I think we're gonna see is like an inner conflict within the borders of Wakanda as like society is starting to turn on each other after this power vacancy. Because yeah, not only do you have T'Challa gone, you have Shuri gone as well. The entire royal family's gone. If you're going by traditional lineage rules, it might go back up to the Queen Mother, Ramonda. But really, we know Wakanda goes by these trial by combat at Warrior Falls. And then the runner-up...
You think the Queen Mother got in a trial by combat?
She'd be vicious. You do
Angela
not want to
Bassett
have to
setting
fight
cars
Angela
on fire.
Bassett would cut a bitch. Angela Bassett would and has cut a bitch, for sure.
She's waiting to exhale all this time.
Yeah. So one of the big mysteries that still hasn't been answered in the MCU is what happened to the people when they dusted. It's been implied that it's just like a blackout and they don't really have any memories during that time. But we know in Wakandan mythology, they go to the Ancestral Plane when they die, and they live on as these panther spirit guides to the next generation of people. So I'm wondering if in Wakanda, we're going to start to see kind of this almost like Greek god oversight over the current drama, and you're going to see a division between the ancestor spirits, and they're each going to have a champion for who they think is the rightful ruler of the next generation of Wakanda. And you're going to have a division between the people who were dusted, who are maybe in this limbo state, who don't really belong in the Ancestral Plane because they died in this unnatural way, and the people who died in a natural way, like T'Chaka and like the other ancestors that T'Challa communed with. And you're going to see one side who wants to pick someone like Okoye to be their champion, and you're going to have another side who says, well, really, the most worthy champion maybe in this new generation is Killmonger is Ndjaka. And they're going to resurrect him using maybe some of the heart-shaped herb. And it's going to play out on this other layer of drama. It's going to be like Game of Thrones Wakanda, where you see like Killmonger versus Okoye to battle for the Wakandan throne.
How are they communing with the ancestral plane?
Lion King style. Dust, like leaves
clouds.
in the dust.
Clouds.
Mufasa, sex clouds.
Leaves that say sex. Yeah. But no, Eric, how are they doing it?
Well, in the same way that T'Challa communed with them, he got buried in the soil or in the magical sand, and he consumed the heart-shaped herb, and he went to this ancestral plane, and that's what he did after the warrior falls. It's all part of that ritual. So
Gotcha.
On each side, we're having two separate rituals, and each side is communing with these different aspects of the ancestral plane. But also, it could be like The Happening, and they just talk to plants.
Yeah, and so when they go in there, suddenly it goes from like a place that, had some people to it's jam-packed with half of the people from Wakanda?
Half of the people from Wakanda. And we don't know if it's exactly half, right? Like, that's half of all life. It could just be like 12 people from Wakanda.
And it's like everyone in New Jersey to balance it out. So then here's something that I think is really interesting about that idea. Isn't the ancestral plane filled with all the past Black Panthers?
Yes, it's all the people who are part of that lineage.
So then technically the people that could be vying for that side could be just Black Panthers from every time.
Yeah. And they may all have like different outlooks on who is the worthiest, most rightful leader of the country, especially after, you could argue that after T'Challa ascended to the throne and he was able to fend off both M'Baku and Killmonger, and then right after that, Thanos arrived and like rocked Wakanda and took out half of all life. Like, some of those ancestors may argue, you know what, we need a different kind of leadership, and we may need someone who's tougher and more militaristic to defend Wakanda and defend Earth from any future threats. And you could see some people making the argument that Killmonger may be the guy for the job.
All right, Eric, I'm giving you a rogie. And then
you spared the rogies.
I'm giving you one rogie for the idea of just the ancestral plane alone being a whole movie in there with a bunch of Black Panthers and stuff. And then another rogie because there's a fight between the dead and the living for rule of Wakanda, and I think that's awesome. So that's two rogies, but I need you to find two things in your blue dungeon right now to represent the two rogies on your end, because I didn't send you any.
Okay.
In fact, if everyone can just grab things that will be your rogies so you can keep count. And I might be very generous. You might need 15 of these things.
Okay.
So, did everybody grab something that will represent the rogies? You don't have to show me now?
Yep.
Great. All right, Eric, what do you got?
I got a clamp that I found, and then I got a chunk of the blue dungeon wall.
Oh,
I helped you set up that blue dungeon, and that clamp was essential.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no!
All right, who's next?
I'll go next.
Great. Tommy, all right. What was going on those 5 years in Wakanda?
Well, Philip, guess who's back? Back again.
What?
Shady.
M'Baku's back.
Baku.
Tell some friends. M'Baku's back. M'Baku's back. M'Baku's back. I created a monster because nobody wants to see M'Baku
Oh, God,
born.
no, please,
T'Challa,
Tommy, no.
No,
It's already... We already shouldn't really be talking too much about Wakanda without any representation on this panel.
Yeah.
And then you're also going... I guess at least you went to the white rapper.
Yeah, I don't understand what was wrong with doing a Marshall Mathers banger. It's M'Baku, the pride of Brighton, New York. Winston Duke, you're not from Brooklyn, buddy. You're from Brighton. It's okay. We all know. We know you graduated in 2002, same as me. But we love you.
Do you think he's from Brooklyn?
Yeah, we're the two most famous people from Rochester. I would know, okay? So listen, let's talk about why this makes sense. It's logic, another white rapper. It's logical that the biggest, strongest man in Wakanda would then assume the throne through the trial by combat, okay? Like, we're in a time, we need a leader to step up. People are dusting all over. People are dusting like people, okay? So what you need is someone to step up and lead. You need a man or a woman, who can come in with brute force, win that trial by combat, and give the people something to believe in. Okay? So that's M'Baku. He's strong. He's confident. He's compassionate. He knows when help is needed. He's, I think, a vegetarian, or at least a pescatarian, and I like that. He's woke. So, yeah, I think big, strong, beefy boy M'Baku is new king in Black Panther.
Tommy, this isn't you're not trying to get us to vote for him.
Listen, I'm going to give you the straight talk right now.
What happened in those 5 years?
So let's take a look. So you have T'Challa. He's the Black Panther. He's the king of Wakanda. People adore him. He goes through this crisis with Killmonger, where Killmonger actually defeats him and takes over. Then he, in turn, defeats Killmonger. So we're already in some instability. Then what happens a few months later? The man turns to dust, like Brad Pitt at the end of Interview with a Vampire. He just turns to dust and falls to the earth. So what are people to do? Now we're in chaos for the second time in not too many years. You have to turn to a face people trust, and that's M'Baku. Second place. So close to first. The strongest opposition he might face in terms of a match would be Okoye, but I think at this point he probably has to face an open trial again. So like what we would see is maybe 5 or 6 candidates step up from the different tribes in Wakanda to go and try and face him. But we know that he's barely less strong than T'Challa, right? So he's going to beat all of them. So we probably see him beat them, and then he's got to, like, the one thing that we didn't see a lot out of him was brains. So he's going to have to figure out how to utilize all this technology, and that's where, we might see some new side characters come in. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, me, a big, strong guy. It took me forever to get into Google Hangout today because I'm just not used to technology. I'm super strong and confident, but maybe the tech isn't right there for me. So while I'm a natural leader and people adore me, maybe I'm not able to hook up a computer. And that's kind of what I think M'Baku's at.
Yeah, you got that white guy confidence where you just say something and it's true.
Yeah.
I do think it's really funny that M'Baku, isn't he, am I wrong? Does he live in a cave?
I think he lives in a cave, yes.
So he goes from that to running the most advanced technological civilization of all time.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's like the majority of the movie that we would see is like
I think it's kind of like
being the intern.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's the lighter side. It's the lighter side of Marvel where we get a little lighthearted fun of him, control alt deleting the computers or maybe unplugging things and plugging them back in.
It sounds like that movie Dave, the guy who they have to usher him through running the being the leader of the free world.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this reboot
that
of
plus
Dave.
Encino Man.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy, I'm going to give you one Rogie.
Great.
And this is for you. I'm passing it to you through the camera.
Great.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
And you turned it into
an original Egon Spangler figure.
Oh, great. Only 15 minutes in before Tommy showed everybody his Spangler.
One of the perks of being in your childhood home is that you can play with your childhood toys and other things.
Ew. you started the call with talking about your quarantine with your mom.
Yeah. You keep connecting those dots, Filup. You do you. I can't write your fan fiction about me. That's got to come from your heart.
I feel like of all the people here, you are the most likely to write your own fan fiction.
That's very true. I have archives of it. If you ever want to read it, it's 400 pages long, mostly drawings.
All right, Tommy. So vote M'Baku 2020 is what you're saying?
Yeah. Me and Egon say that. And by the way, you're going to want to give me some more Rogies because I found some great stuff here.
Okay, well, make sure we can show it on camera.
Okay, I don't have anything left. Right. No more Rogies for me.
All right, Matt, what do you got?
All right, so I like the Killmonger theory. I'm into Man Ape for president. I'd vote. But I think you guys are sleeping on this underwater earthquake. You mentioned it at the top, but then we're not talking about it.
Yes! Thank you. Somebody's listening.
Right. All right. Here's the thing. Okay, so we know that Wakandans are first to fight, right? For our knowledge, to the best of our knowledge, they had absolutely no concept of alien life. And yet the moment that Thanos' army came down, they were ready. They were like, we're ready. They're doing the E-bomb bays. They were ready to fight these guys, right? So
E-bomb's world.
E-bomb's world. They were all
from
chanting
Webster,
about
New York. He's also
Webster.
from Rochester. Oh my Jesus. Yeah.
Tommy,
you are not more famous than E-bomb.
Yeah, no, E-bomb is definitely the more famous of the two. That's fine.
E-bomb's number one, and then M'Baku.
and then Kristen Wiig, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman, and then China the wrestler.
What?
I get it. I'm nobody.
The list is getting longer.
But hey,
Genuine.
you run the Rochester, New York Wikipedia page, so that's important.
That's
You've
true.
got that going for you.
Did you
I'm
just look
actually
that
the
up?
mayor.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Still the
Good for you for beating that dog.
So that's the test to become mayor. You have to beat a dog.
Actually, it was conjoined dogs. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's twice as hard.
Adorable.
Technically, a pack of dogs I defeated.
Okay. Great theory, Matt.
Let's wrap this. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Appreciate it. This is great.
Okay, so pick it up.
There was an earthquake. Nat wanted to deal with it. Okoye said not to worry. We're handling it. In theory, that's kind of a badass statement. So my guess is the underwater earthquake that we perceived is actually some kind of underwater battle that is happening that Wakanda decided to step into, which leads us into two of the best characters in the MCU. Well, the Marvel Universe, hoping to be the MCU. Tiger Shark, Namor. I'm telling you guys, this is the way they work them in. I think this is how we kind of backfill Namor into the MCU. I think it's a great way you have Atlantis, you have Wakanda, you have two of these kind of like very proud and tribal nations going head to head, and this is the war that's going to spill out into the modern world and into what we're dealing with. I'm just excited to have Namor in the MCU, and I think it's even better because it's only going to lead to the greatest team of all time, the Defenders. Which, as everyone knows, here is Namor, Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Silver Surfer, which maybe we'll get one day. But I'm very excited. What?
I'm gonna like poke around here with your timeline.
Yeah, hit me.
So we know that 5 years have passed.
Yep.
And then there's the earthquake.
Yeah.
Under the water. So what were the 5 years leading up to that earthquake?
This is a brimming war. This is like the earthquake was essentially the first time that these two tribes, these two nations actually came together. I mean, if you think about it, for us to feel an earthquake underwater, it has to be pretty seismic, right? It's not just like a regular earthquake in like LA or whatever. It has to be kind of massive for us to actually register it on any kind of scales. So I think that over the last 5 years, Okoye is kind of in charge. Her and Angela Bassett are getting their groove back, and they're kind of taking things on. And all of a sudden they start to see this nation rising up from the sea and trying to take things over, because everyone knows Atlanteans are bad people. They hate the surface walkers. They hate us for breathing air and ruining their the water.
Coca-Cola factory.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that they're definitely not going to start off as being friendly people. So of course Wakanda's on the front lines taking them out. And I think the earthquake of what we saw is probably what we would probably interpret as a massive world war happening underwater. This battle, akin to an Act 3 of Aquaman, but a massive fight that's happening between Wakandans and Atlanteans, and we're just registering it now, which is why Okoye was kind of like, don't worry about it, we got it covered, it's all good. That's what my theory is. That is my theory.
You're talking about the massive end of the conflict that sounds like a world war, but where does it start?
I mean, you've already got it in real life, right? You've got the fact that like Atlanteans have a reason to be upset at Earthlings, right? Because we're ruining their area. So I would say that it would be something along the lines as, possibly Atlanteans coming up and trying to destroy tree life or destroy modern technology. And what better place to start than a place that is already so advanced technologically than Wakanda? So I'd say that it was probably some kind of sleeper, probably some kind of, possibly a bomb, possibly somebody who sent up to destroy something public. And that was what put it on the radar for Wakanda. Though to say, I would assume based on their intelligence, Wakanda probably knew Atlanta, Georgia existed.
Hotlanta.
Hotlanta, but I think that's
directed by Tyler Perry.
Exactly. Starring Childish Gambino. I think that honestly having this war start in Wakanda and then hope, the Wakandans trying to keep it contained in their world and it brimming to the point and 5 years later. And then all of a sudden in the midst of this massive war, these battles are happening. All of a sudden the rest of the Wakandan people show up, as well as the most powerful superheroes on the planet all decide to show up. I'm assuming that there's going to be a beat taken on this war and we're going to see something happen even bigger in the future now that everyone's back on Earth. That's my guess.
All right, Matt, you've gone and you've earned your first Rogie.
My first Rogie!
Yay.
Amazing!
Can you turn it into something?
Thank you so much for giving me this Magic the Gathering card.
Condom.
Oh my God, and it's a Soul Echo. This is worth nothing. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you a second Rogie then.
Oh my goodness, I get a second Rogie. Whoa, it's a pin that says I'm moist. Oh my goodness!
Give me that back.
All right,
give me that back.
You can have it back. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. Back to one. All right, let's hear everyone's theories back in a tweet, starting with Erik.
Okay, where did we go when half of everyone snapped? Well, if you're Wakandan, you went to the Ancestral Plane, and it's now a choice between you and the other Black Panther ancestors over which champion deserves to inherit the throne, Okoye or Killmonger.
That felt like
Choose
way
your
more
own
than
adventure.
20 characters. I'm just
Choose
saying.
your player.
Eric's on the blue screen, so we can do something with this
Yes.
nonsense. All right, Matt, Tommy, what do you got?
M'Baku? How dare you? T'Challa must come back from dust. Make Wakanda great again.
That's M'Baku's campaign
Yes.
slogan?
No, that's
Yes,
not.
everyone's.
That's me as a grassroots muckraker for the Wakanda Times. They're like, why is that fat white guy writing for that paper?
Yeah.
What does he do?
Keeps trying to
Everyone's
like
favorite catchphrase,
come in under the
"Mooga."
radar.
I'm the Michael Moore of Wakanda. I just go around.
Oh God, dirtying the water and
Yes.
reporting on it.
That's right.
What's your Wakandan name?
My Wakanda name is. Oh man, I almost just said something really mean about myself. My Wakanda name is Big Boy, big beefy boy, but big boy.
You have to start with an M.
It's B.
Yeah,
It's
my big boy.
But big boy.
My big boy.
Big
My
boy.
big boy.
Big boy. My big boy.
Big boy.
M apostrophe A
I
B
don't
I
think it
G
needs to
B
be
O
so
I.
self-deprecating. I think it could just. Mine is just Milady. That's gonna be mine.
Milady, my
Milady,
big boy.
my big boy.
No, mine's my big boy,
M'Baku.
but I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
can
what
have
your
it.
mom would call you. My big boy, come here.
She doesn't. We're not speaking.
Milady. In the quarantine playing with your stuff. And then Matt, what's your tweet?
Every word, envision it in between clap emojis. So it's
Sure.
y'all sleeping on underwater earthquake. Namor coming, y'all!
Yes.
Exclamation point, fish emoji, and then a little. I think there's a trident emoji. It might
There
be
sure is.
like the.
It's yeah.
There's male
Yeah.
and female mermaid emojis as well, both with tridents.
Oh, I'm gonna put those in as well. Though I think the fish one is it's pretty succinct, but I like that. Yeah. So y'all sleeping on underwater earthquakes.
All right, Matt, your tweet gets another Rogie, and this
Oh
is the
my
only time where
goodness.
moist makes sense.
Oh,
So
well,
since we're talking
what-
about being underwater.
Oh, I get thank you. I get it back. Thank you. I'm still
Yeah,
moist.
gross.
Still extremely moist.
Still moist 2020. Make America moist again. All right. Guys, before we move on really quick, just a quick shout out to our sponsors. Thank you so much to AMC Shudder. So AMC Shudder is kind of like the Netflix of horror, and because we're all just stuck in our homes, kind of scared, I figured let's go ahead and just think about things that scare us. So they're declaring April the halfway to Halloween mark, and we're just going to go ahead and start getting scared at home. You guys can do it with us by watching their new series of cursed films. These are movies that deal with curses, like The Exorcist is on there. One of my personal favorites of all time, Poltergeist, is on there, and then The Crow, which is actually like a cursed film. Like all of these movies, you guys know what we're talking about here, right? It's like movies that not only is the movie kind of about scary stuff, but the production of the movie is cursed.
Oh yeah. Some
Yes.
poltergeisty stuff. I'm a fan. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Poltergeist has really crazy ones.
Field
Yeah.
of Dreams.
You guys know those.
Field of Dreams is cursed. All those baseball players disappeared in the cornfield.
Well, because they
Oh,
were
no,
dead.
Tommy,
They were all dead.
Yeah. They were actors.
But
that
the
were dead.
actors, to my knowledge, all the actors disappeared and were never seen again.
We're never seeing it
Can
again.
we check in
Yeah.
on Kevin Costner?
He's gone.
Yeah, he was on this hangout at one point. They also, by the way, they have just other great stuff related to horror. Like Robert Kirkman is the Walking Dead guy, and he's got a whole series on there of the history of comics. Funny enough, so it's even if you're not a huge horror fan, you can watch that. There's also Wolf Creek and Creepshow TV, which is the classic Creepshow.
I do love Creepshow. Anytime you can get Leslie Nielsen in a serious role, just cling on to it. It's gold. It's amazing. It's a rarity.
So Shudder has a ton of great thrillers and horrors and supernatural movies and TV shows, and you can stream them on any device that you normally stream on. I think it's just $5.99 a month too.
That's nothing.
Well, and also they're offering a free month right now if you use our promo code. Get started streaming with the best horror, thriller, and supernatural content. Shudder's expertly curated collection includes titles like Halloween, Oldboy, and all of the Friday the 13th movies, even the not great 8th one. So to try Shudder for free for 30 days, go to shudder.com, use promo code NEWROCKSTARS. That's SHUDDER.com, and use promo code NEWROCKSTARS for 30 days free. Hey guys. Are you guys confident in the bedroom?
It's my most confident room next to the bathroom.
Wait, are we talking sexually or like how I sleep?
Well, do you like sleeping with boners?
Oh, yes.
I mean, yeah.
I can't go to sleep soft.
It's impossible.
All the blood has to leave my body so that I can fall
I
asleep.
usually count on boners to spring me out of bed after I sleep on my belly. But lately, it's been kind of a challenge.
Well, Eric, as you know, the Blue Dungeon has come out with its own product, the Blue Chew pill. It's actually not at all related to the Blue Dungeon. It just happens to be a coincidence.
It's not?
Blue Chew, guys. Oh, God, no, that's not the Blue Chew. We haven't sent it to you yet.
Oh. No wonder it's not working.
Thank God it's not working. Guys, Blue Chew is a chewable pill equivalent, basically, an alternative to Viagra or Cialis, but they're cheaper than both of those, and they're made in the USA.
Hell
so you
yeah.
can feel really patriotic
Red, white,
while
and
you
blue.
raise that flagpole. And also, you don't have to do the awkward thing of going to your doctor or your pharmacy and screaming at them, "I can't get it up!" Which is, I assume, how you get prescribed.
Only way
these
I've
pills.
ever gotten one. An erection.
Screaming
that is.
on the streets.
Yeah, shouting at a doctor.
You got to scream at a pharmacist. You got to try that.
Everybody's got their kink. Mine's shouting at medical professionals.
What's cool about this is Blue Chew just does a free online consultation with a doctor, and then once they approve you, they just ship it directly to your door in real discreet packaging. I have said this multiple times that I'd be proud if it means you're getting laid if it's coming in the mail. So, I don't mind it showing up. Here's the really great deal they're giving us. You go to bluechew.com and you get your first order free when you use promo code NEWROCK. Very clear on that again. New Rock.
New Rock Hards. Yeah.
Yeah. New Rock Hards. Everyone knows what we could have said. People in the comments are like, they should have said that. We know. Use promo code New Rock, and you just got to pay $5 for the shipping. But if your sex life isn't worth $5, I mean.
You could just have it and just, if you're bored around the house, just take it and just start poking stuff or turning the light switch on and off. It's a lot of fun.
If you need something to hang your sweater on, take a Blue Chew.
Yeah.
Let that thing ride out.
Honestly, without a Blue Chew, I don't know that I can hit all of these light switches. It depends. If it's the easy flip one, or is it like the knob that you have to push in and then twist?
No, it's the cockers. It's the cockers. That's what they call them.
Can you get
If you
Clapper?
take one Blue Chew, you will be able to turn off all the light switches in your apartment at the same time.
At the same time.
Scientists have proven.
With your wiener's mind, just
You turn into
shuts
Mr.
out.
Fantastic.
By that, Eric's saying you will black out. And you will assume all your lights are off.
Yeah, all the lights go out because all the blood rushes to your penis so fast. Oh my God, I turned all the lights off and I woke up in a hospital.
It's crazy that as
It
this
teleported
conversation
me.
is happening, Blue Chew's stock has quadrupled.
Oh my God. BlueChew.com,
You're welcome.
promo code NEWROCK. Guys, it's time to talk about the Discord theory of the week and announce our winner, by the way. So if you don't know, we've been playing a version of this that is much less raunchy in the Discord with our patrons where they get to pitch their theories. This week's theory, was about who's going to be the next big bad in the MCU after Thanos. We had really great theories from Teens and also Dan Wig. I like Teens was really rogue, and so was Dan Wiggs. Actually, I really like both of their theories. This is the first time. Okay, the vote was very close. The winner was just by one vote.
Wow.
All three judges split their vote. Everyone liked a different one. But our winner is MLGX Champion. It's who also is known as Richie. And his theory is that much like how Thanos was built up over a bunch of phases, actually our big bad is going to be delayed for a while. It will be a dozen or so movies before we deal with Galactus.
Hell yeah!
But in the meantime, we're hitting beats of not mini villains, but our smaller villains, specifically Kang, coming in and helping introduce the Fantastic Four, and the Thunderbolts also playing smaller villain roles along the way. There's really great details there also about, in Dan Wig's theory, I really liked about how the Fantastic Four movie could be set in the past. I know Eric likes that idea too.
I love that. I think that's awesome. I think it's genius. I love the concept of using Kang as kind of a mini boss. You could use Kang, you could use Silver Surfer, you could use any of the early FF villains. I think that's genius. And I love the idea of not getting another big bad for 10 more years. Let's give it a beat. The world just destroyed. Let's wait a minute. I love that.
I completely agree. Patience is a virtue.
Well, and Kang being able to travel through time does set up. We could have already had the Fantastic Four this whole time in the 60s or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then you have their whole series take place there or something.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think you need some time to build up to Galactus, because I think he's most effective as just this specter silhouette looming in the background. And then we start to get used to the idea of him, and then like 2 phases later, finally we get there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, time for our final big theory.
Yeah.
It is about a debate that was going on Twitter this week. I don't know if you guys saw. There's a heated debate about essentially which Marvel movie is more skippable, Thor 2 or Iron Man 3. These are basically the Marvel movies that have the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score. Other candidates that people threw in there were The Incredible Hulk. Captain Marvel was up there too. So all these MCU movies are very fun. We're doing our rewatch right now. We're really enjoying it. And they're all better than like Catwoman and Daredevil, that movie. But pitch me on what you guys think is the most skippable of the MCU movies, if you must skip one because you're having a baby.
I'm gonna go rogue here. I'm gonna go really rogue.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna
you
say,
about to say
That's the
Endgame?
show.
I'm gonna go rogue on. I'm gonna say this is where you can stop. I think you can lose the last 20 minutes of Avengers and the first 90 minutes of Avengers 2 and be completely fine. I find nothing of value in those. When people ask me to discuss those movies, I don't remember what happens in them. They don't reach me, as storytelling the way that the smaller singular standalone movies are. I like when the characters come from other stories into the standalone movies. When they all get together, except for Avengers 3 and 4, which I thought were home runs for movies. The first two I thought really were kind of clunky and forgettable films.
Don't they win at the end of Avengers 1 in those last 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who cares?
So we don't need to know that.
Yeah,
I guess we can
I
assume
would
that
honestly
they
just
won.
take a little title card that says obviously they win, guys.
So just to be clear, Tommy, you want to pause right in the middle of the battle in New York.
That's right.
Right when Hulk shows up and says, I'm always angry.
That's the last line of the movie.
Skip it.
As he turns, he never becomes Hulk.
Yeah,
It just goes
that's the
credits.
last
So
line
no
that's
Tony
the
flying the
last line.
nuke through the wormhole.
All right, so obviously I'm being dramatic, but I honestly think if I have to pick a movie, Avengers 2 is one I would skip every time. I just don't I never remember that movie. My number one question when people talk about that movie is, can you remind me what happens in that movie again? Like, really what we get is the Scarlet Witch. We lose Quicksilver in kind of a hokey way. Like, having him die was kind of a cop-out because the character was so popular in the Fox X-Men movies. They didn't really have a way to do, obviously they couldn't do the Magneto being their father's storyline. So they kind of just killed him to give her the motivation to be good, I guess. But I don't know.
James Spader quoting Pinocchio is worth my $20 regardless of
I won't argue with you on that. I love James Spader, and I don't hate...
Out of curiosity, Eric, you do a James Spader impression, right?
Yeah, perfect. That's Spader from...
After Blue Chew.
Pretty in Pink, right?
Tommy, Avengers 2, I'm going to give you 2 Rogies for that.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, they turned into... Wow, this is totally crazy. I wasn't expecting this. Another Egon. I think this is a Ghostbusters Extreme Egon. And a grenade.
Put that down. Wait, don't put it down.
Yeah.
I think it's a dud.
You know, the fact that these were your toys were the same figurine multiple times and then a grenade explains a lot about the person you became.
Well, in my neighborhood, if you didn't own 2 Egons, you didn't come correct, and you were gonna get shot down. So you had to. It was a
2 Egons and a knockoff Slimer that's actually a grenade.
You've never heard that Wu-Tang song, 2 Egons and a grenade?
No, I have.
I guess you're just not from
Ghostface Killer.
Yeah, okay.
Ghostface Killer. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Who's next?
My most disappointed I've ever been in an MCU movie was Ant-Man. I feel like and it's upsetting because it's like on paper, I love every aspect. I really would have loved if they had just given it to Edgar Wright 100%. It would have been a completely different movie and I would have loved it. So going in, I was already like, this already feels homogenized. Love anything Paul Rudd does. Huge fan. I think Peyton Reed, my number one favorite movie of all time is Down with Love. So you tell me he's doing a superhero movie about kind of the D-list superhero. I was like, oh my God, I'm in. It just felt so unnecessary. It felt colored by numbers Marvel. At the end of the day, if you start with Ant-Man 2 and you're like, he already has a suit, he's super cute, he's super charming, he's super relatable. Also, you've got Wasp. She's already a thing. She exists. I don't need an entire movie of her trying to prove herself to set it up. Like, I get it. She's a badass. She doesn't need quarantining. I understand. But I think like you can genuinely skip that entire first movie and you'll be fine. Like it doesn't need to exist in your brain. It doesn't.
I agree. I switched my answer to his answer.
Oh, good. Yep.
I give you this grenade.
All right, you can give him one of his. And what does Matt turn it into?
Oh no! I turned it into a Batman stamp. That's so cute. Look at that.
Wow.
So what you do is you melt the wax and then you stamp it.
Oh,
and
it's a seal.
A Batman's. Yeah, it's a seal.
Oh my god.
Because I'm a dork.
You're like a lord
Tommy
in
taught
Westeros.
you the right word for it. Yeah. Oh man, Batman in Westeros. Let's pitch that next time.
Westeros.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Ant-Man was. Yeah. I think you nailed it right. It's like it's a fun movie. And then I forgot happened after you said that.
Yep.
But then has the most violent death you've ever seen in any of the MCU movies.
He murders Frank and wipes him up off the floor and flushes
It is
him.
disgusting. It is one of the most like violent kills ever.
See, but again, couldn't have remembered that. You had to literally describe it verbatim for me to remember.
Yeah. All right. So you got your Rogi from Tommy, and Tommy gave up one of his. All right, Eric, what do you got?
Okay, I think the debate between Thor 2 and Iron Man 3 is a little unfair because we're in phase 2, we're still figuring it out. And yeah, I think some of those phase 1 movies I'm willing to forgive because Marvel was still getting its footing. I think Thor 2 and Iron Man 3 are unfairly maligned. I think there's a lot of good things about that movie, both those movies. Really, to me, I'm going to get some hate for this. I think Captain Marvel was very disappointing in a lot of ways. And my favorite things about that movie is everything that is not related to the character of Carol Danvers. I think there's so much about that character and her journey that I think is completely skippable. And I think they did so many things to fix that character and make her a leader and make her active and make her interesting and focused in Endgame. And if they had just let Endgame be her introduction to the MCU, I think it would have been completely fine. And if they had just titled the story of Captain Marvel, Nick Fury and the origin of the Avengers Initiative, it would have been a far more interesting film.
That's fair. I love the idea of
Yeah.
Nick Fury accidentally almost getting his eye poked out for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd watch that. Oh, fourth room. Oh, no. Now he's walking into that damn broken glass factory. Like, I love that idea of him just being like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Coulson took Blue Chew. Bam. Ah!
Oh my god.
And it's got a fork tip.
If this story had just been Nick Fury and Goose for the whole time, could have been like a Turner and Hooch kind of thing, a buddy
True.
comedy, that would have been an amazing film.
Yeah, the difference of filmmakers too, right? Like the Endgame filmmakers, it's fun to have Captain Marvel in that movie, and then Captain Marvel she's not fun until the end of her own movie.
Yeah, and even then she gets in this superhero complex where her powers are too powerful. She's a little undefined what she can and can't do. She can go Super Saiyan and phase shift through everything. She can move at light speed. It's kind of like, well then, how is she specifically useful in this?
She's giving us a reason why Sentry could never exist in the MCU is what she's doing.
Right. And also a great reason for why we need to send her as far away for as many movies as possible.
Yep.
And she can but we'll give her a beeper. and then we can use her only when we can't think of our way out of a story. Eric, you got a Rogi. It bums me out, but you're right. Yeah.
Oh.
What did it turn into?
It's going to turn into a Manscaped body trimmer 3.0.
Not a sponsor of this episode.
Not a sponsor, but boy, oh boy, has this gotten me through this quarantine period.
Eric, can you pass that back to me?
Yeah. Here you go, Philip.
Damn, what?
Magic.
I wanted the Rogi back.
That's incredible.
Forget it.
Wait, try
Forget
it.
it.
Okay.
Try it with you with your grenade. Yeah. Wait, if I give you the Manscaped.
Another grenade!
Oh, damn it.
No! Wait.
A grenade for your pubic hair.
And a Peter Venkman.
Manscaped.
Whose eyes pop out.
God. All right. So let's hear him back again in a tweet.
Okay. Avengers 2? Screw you. I'll take a standalone movie like Black Widow, kiddo.
You're yelling at a child this whole time?
Yes, that was directed towards an 8-year-old.
Is that part of it? All tweets have to rhyme?
Tommy is like Phineas Gage. He got a rebarb in his brain, and he can only tweet and rhyme.
And now I'm traveling around the country for 5 cents an hour telling my story.
I love it.
Great. Next tweet.
So if Portman's coming back, Thor 2 actually matters. I think you're all Wrong. Ant-Man is the worst.
You forgot which movie you were
I was
talking shit about.
Well, I want to give
You
it a
did that. That was
reason.
your point about Ant-Man.
Yeah, my point about Ant-Man is that Natalie Portman is important again. No, my blue chew kicked in.
pretty
I
good.
blacked out for a second. I'm sorry.
When the blue chew kicks in.
That's why they only show us from the waist up. If they showed us from the waist down, we'd all be a little bottom heavy right now.
And then Eric, what do you got?
The post-credit scene to Avengers Infinity War just went on a couple seconds too long. Instead of panning down to that beeper to show the Captain Marvel logo, it should have let Nick Fury finish his word, which wasn't going to be motherfucker, it was going to be mother flirkin'. Just a buddy comedy with him and Goose is all we need.
Man, Eric's tweets are these little mini essays.
I take pictures of notes and then post them as tweets.
Oh, they're screenshots. Wait, we could do that?
Yeah.
I take mine back.
Tommy, your tweet got one more.
Great. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's this old lady Ghostbuster character that does this, and then does this, does this.
All Ghostbusters
These
toys in
things
one
were made in
grenade.
like 1985. They have like stamps on them. This one was made in 1988. Good plastic. They used to make good toys, guys.
Eric was made in 1988, and he's my favorite toy.
Oh,
Time for
yeah.
road questions.
Whoa.
All right, guys. Number one, Daniel Craig said in a recent interview that he plans to give away all of his money before he dies instead of leaving it to his children. What's the most Bond reason for having to cut off his kids?
Because those babies are shaken, not stirred.
Oh, God. Shaking babies?
Yeah, so that it's not alive. Or also, just he's slept with so many women he doesn't know that they're his kids. So he
Thank
just
you. That's exactly
Solid
my
point.
theory.
Or that he
He's
has
literally-
thousands of kids.
Yeah, he's had unprotected sex with a woman in every movie for the last 50 years. He doesn't have that kind of money. Give it away. Give it away.
Eric, you got an answer?
Or maybe the Bond reason is that, like his movies over the past decade, every other one is a dud.
I like that.
That's pretty
I like
good.
that.
Pretty good.
Scott Z. Burns, who wrote the suddenly very topical movie Contagion, is currently working on a musical for AMC. What's the title of the coronavirus-themed musical?
Social distancing. Social distancing.
Maybe Avenue Achoo!
Yes, that's good.
No rent.
Oh, yes. Rent freeze.
No.
Oh, yeah, rent freeze, please.
Yeah.
Actual freeze. And then number 3, the release of the upcoming film Minions Rise of Gru was f***ing delayed.
Dude, I'm really upset about this. I'm actually really bummed. I was really looking. The world needs Minions right now.
I also...
So we're going to send these to Universal, guys. Give us your best impassioned plea to the studio of why they need to release Minions Rise of Gru right f***ing now.
Dear Kung Fu Panda, I assume based on Universal Studios, you are the god of Universal, so I'll appeal directly to you. Release the Minions. We need the Minions. A lot of people don't know this, but Minions are important to children and adults alike. If you keep the Minions from me, I can't be held responsible for what I'll do. You think the Rise of Gru is upsetting? Wait till you see the Rise of Tommy, sponsored by Blue Chew.
The Rise of Tommy.
Mine is very simple. Without Minions, what are we supposed to masturbate to? Get your shit together, Universal.
He's right.
Get it together.
Damn it, he's right.
And Eric?
Minions is love. Minions is life.
But that's Shrek. You can't take Shrek's thing. That's all he has.
He's right. Matt and Tommy, you both get an additional Rogie.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
It's
And what? So what do you...
This is crazy. It's Wonder Woman and Chris Evans as Captain America in a 69. That's insane. Wow.
What? Are you...
A crazy rogie.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy Rogie.
Can you wait? Did
Matt, what do you got?
I get one. Can you pass it
Yeah.
to me and commit to the bit?
I did
Philip?
pass it to you.
I dropped it. Now I have to pick it
Okay.
up off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh well, thank you anyway. It's a pin of me. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It's so
With
cute.
hollow places where your soul should be.
Exactly.
really nice.
Where my eyes would
Yeah.
be is just the void of nothingness.
That's really nice.
Both got flirkened. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's do a count your Rogies. I have no
2,
idea who
3,
won.
4. I have 5 rogies.
I have 3 Rogies.
I don't remember how many I have. Oh no, I do. I have 4. I have my magic card and my moist pin and my pin and this seal of Batman.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
have 4 and Matt has 5 because I gave him one of mine. So
Right. So now I have too many. I've run out of.
Oh, Matt has 5.
yeah. But
Matt, if you'll admit that Batman thing is definitely just mini little vibrator, because that's more what it looks like, then you are our winner.
I do. I admit it, and it's mine, and you
Yeah.
can't. Luckily, it's just for me.
Matt, we forgot to tell you this. The winner has his wish come true here at the end of the episode. So, do you just have a wish for us that we can enact right now?
Oh, my wish! Black Widow never comes out. Oh.
wow.
God.
Wow.
Well, for the time being, we'll make that true.
Thank you.
For right now.
That's what I wanted.
Guys, that's it for this episode of Rogue Theory. Thanks to our guest, to Matt Raub, even though I do not agree with what he just wished for.
No. You
Matt.
granted it. It's not on me. It's on you. This is the new Rockstars thing. If the movie never comes out.
No, there's a
I
bat
can't.
seal on that wish, a vibrating bat seal. Tommy Bechtold, thank you so much.
Bye.
And then Eric, what do we have going on the channel this week?
Well, we've been going through all these MCU rewatches of the Infinity Saga. Hulk will be on the channel tomorrow, and then on Monday we'll have Iron Man 2, if all things go okay.
Wow, the best
so maybe.
one.
Yeah.
Whiplash. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Rogue Theory. Thanks for everybody for joining. Do not forget to subscribe to Rogue Theory as a podcast too, and also to this channel. And follow New Rockstars on Twitter at New Rockstars. Follow me anywhere at Filup Molina, Instagram, Twitter. All these people's handles were on their faces a minute ago. We're doing it. It's happening. Yay! Good thing we have internet. Bye.